we're going live now. I'm just waiting on notification. And this means a lot to me that you would take time out of your busy schedule to come let us know who you are and and have a conversation. All right, here we go. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us today, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother, the incredible artist known as Silky Slim. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, sir, and this is an honor to meet you again for the second time, as you just told me we saw each other at Savings Day. Yes, sir. Okay,
Definitely.
the first question that we have for you today, sir, is we're gonna reverse it because you're an artist. When did you know that you wanted to be a rapper?
Uh, I was never seeking to be a rapper. I just rapped because I could, and it was a way for me to actually turn my street money into money that I could spend. So it was a little bit different for me than most people that was inspired to be rappers. And I never set out to be that superstar rapper because I had actually found a niche on the underground where I figured if I could sell 15 or 20,000 units at $10 a pop, I'm bringing in 200, $300,000. So it was pretty cool just to sell small units and small batches. I was probably making more than some people that was actually signed to deals.
Yes, sir. And well, speaking of being independent and getting money, what advice would you give to those who want to go the independent route?
I think that this is definitely an amazing time to go the independent route with the internet and streaming and all the avenues that you have to release music. I think that it's super time to go there. And I think that you can build a big enough presence just off of social media. What I'm seeing with social media is super amazing where you have people that actually become what we would normally look at as celebrities. They become these social media celebrities, you know. So I think that's super amazing, and I think it's smart for individuals to remain and keep their freedom and have their property at the end of the day and own their masters, you know.
Yes, sir. This is great. Okay. Thank you. And my sister Miriam says, "Peace, family," and people are showing love all across the country. I can't wait to put this on YouTube. Now, as we were getting to know each other better before we went live, you said that Lil Boosie had mentioned you in a song. How did that come about?
It's not one song.
It's
I
multiple
mean,
songs.
you. I don't think that you can find a Little Boosie album where you won't find a Silky Slim song. So
Mm,
you can hear Lil Boosie say, I remember smoking dust with Silky Slim the head buster. We be slanging iron. And his latest album, The Wrong Role Model. I used to sip the whole bottle. Silky Slim was my role model. Went to the pen, look what you did. I had the wrong role model. So we have a lifelong relationship. We grew up in the same hood.
mm,
It claimed the same gang that I actually was instrumental in starting, and
mm.
I kind of like raised him along with C-Loc and others as Young Bleed. All of us came up as I could open my back door, and Young Bleed's back door is right there at my back door. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
So
mm.
all of us came up together like that in Louisiana, and all of us from the bottom of Baton Rouge. So we from a place called the South Side, but we live in the bottom. So Lil Boosie is out the bottom, I'm out the bottom, and we just growed up together. So, and even though our relationship now is super rocky because of some things that have transpired in the streets, we still respect each other. We may not be together as we once was as a big brother, little brother team. I've had the Keep It Gutter album. Me and him did that album together, and I have
Mm.
music with him. But none of those things are things that I expose to the streets anymore because that's not the life that I'm living anymore. So
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. All right. Well, let's speak about the transition from being an artist or getting out of the game. Uh, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I heard the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad probably in the early '90s.
Mm,
Young man, Brother Terrence Muhammad, who actually does security or was over Steve Harvey's security team, was actually in Louisiana. He's from Louisiana, and he asked me to come to the mosque. When I went to the mosque, I won't lie, and I always have told that story. I didn't understand that it was a place of worship for God. I didn't understand that. I was just in the mosque. And then when I heard the minister speaking, the first Sunday that I went, they gave me a tape. The tape was the shock of the hour. And I listened to the shock of the hour over and over again. And even when I was addicted to PCP, and we would be in the trap house, we would have the shock of the hour playing in the trap house. And then we started actually saying, we found a gangster preacher for gangsters, because the way that the minister was spitting fire. So, I mean, I was listening, but not understanding what I was listening to. It took many years for me to understand that this is a divine man of God. And once I realized that, I think that is what started to work me around to really trying to become what it is that I'm still struggling to become.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. And people are showing you love all across the country. So the Captain Brendan sends the greetings. And thank everyone. When I put this on YouTube, please let us know what city you're from and representing. Thank you very much. Man, people are showing you love. Okay, great. Okay, I want to go back to you being addicted to PCP. A lot of the younger people generation, well, all generations, but a lot specifically the younger generation who are addicted to different substances. What advice would you give them to beat addiction?
I don't think you have to beat addiction. I think you just have to stop being addicted the same way that you started. The most honorable Minister Lil Farrakhan said that if you can put a cigarette down for 24 hours, all you got to go is another 24 and keep going. And I think that's what it was. I mean, I had a 33-year addiction. And when I said 33-year addiction, I was consuming anywhere from 1 to 2 ounces in a 24-hour period. And that's a lot of water. That's a lot of PCP. So I had and I flipped out many of times. So I had a 33-year addiction. I started smoking PCP around maybe 13 or 14 years old, and it continued all the way up until my 30s and on. And I've been clean now probably for about 20 years. So I definitely haven't been high since around 2000. I would say 2000, 2001, but it wasn't just beating it, giving up on the drug. Is when you ask me what would I tell individuals, the first thing that I would tell anybody is don't try drugs at all, right? The second thing that I would tell them, if they already have and they find themselves addicted to it, that you could overcome it. You can definitely overcome the drug addiction. You just have to want to. I'm dealing with a younger brother right now, and this is my blood brother. And alcoholism runs deep within my family. And at one time, I was actually an alcoholic as well. But I put the alcohol down, and it was like Allah was dealing with me, because one morning I woke up and I was going to use the restroom. I sat down and pulled out some liquor, tasted it, didn't taste good. I went into my office and grabbed a couple of more bottles, and it was tasting. Finally, I got to some Hennessy. I said, that tastes good. When I sat down in the restroom, it was like Allah was speaking to me, say, well, you enslaving people through cocaine, and you're enslaving people through the drugs that you sell, but you're addicted to PCP and you're addicted to alcohol. So you're a slave as well. And what we have to realize is that all of these drugs, none is any worse than the next one. All of them are designed to do the exact same thing. So if they don't destroy the mind with alcohol, they'll destroy it with PCP. If they don't destroy it with PCP, they'll destroy it with heroin or cocaine. So all of these drugs are designed to destroy the mind, and mostly and intentionally the black mind. You know what I'm saying? So once you realize that, then you put those things down and you never return to those things. So I have been blessed to receive the teachings and put mine down and never picked it up back up. And I didn't go to AA, and I didn't go to a drug class. I just said, that's it. I had enough. And once I realized that I had enough, I put it down and never went back.
Beautiful. All praises be to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay, now, Brother Silky Slim, will you ever go into the ministry?
Will I ever go? I'm already in the ministry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, we operate one of the largest stop the violence organizations in the southern states with Stop the Killing Inc.
Mm.
And our documentaries have reached hundreds of thousands of people. To Live and Die in America documentary is one of the most powerful documentaries that you will ever see. So with the documentaries that we do and the work that we do constantly, I'm already in the ministry. I'm here in Louisiana right now because I came to speak at a funeral for a 3-year-old young man that was in his bed, and the gang was shooting up the house next door, and a bullet came from the house next door and struck the baby in the head and killed the baby. So we continue to bring the message of stop the killing, but as well as calling out. Like when I took the stand yesterday, I was telling them, I was like, it's so sad that we have the community here, but the pimps didn't show up. And then excuse me, the preachers. And I don't want any real preachers to get offended. I say, but when we look at this, and we have to always relate to everything that we are teaching or have been taught back to the scriptures. I say, when I came out of prison and I started reading the Bible, I read somewhere in the Bible about a hireling and a good shepherd. And it said that the
Mm.
hireling would run off and save his life while the good shepherd would remain there and give his life for the sheep.
Go
So
ahead and teach.
the sheep are being slaughtered in the streets because the hireling is on post.
Yes,
And I
sir.
told them, I said, now the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are so few. And one of the things that we have to always pay attention to in a time like today, we would love to say, oh, well, I never tell when people say, oh, man, y'all think y'all righteous. I say, I'm not righteous, man. I'm just struggling to try to do right. That's it with me. I'm trying to do right. That's not saying that I don't do wrong. I tell people all the time, I'm not the one that will come on here and say, "Oh man, the teachings that helped me so much, so I don't even fundicate." I wouldn't even tell that lie. I fall and I get back up and ask Allah to forgive me and try it over again. You know what I'm saying? I'm just real,
Yes,
man.
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
I continue to struggle to become what it is that I see and what I have as an example with the minister. And when I meet with the minister, and the last time I met with the minister would bear witness. I cried. And I say, Minister, I love you so much, and I love the program, but I struggle. I struggle. And he say, son, Allah is patient.
Mm.
And I listen to that, but I don't take that as a crutch. I take it for granted because I
Mm.
know that Allah can be only so patient as well.
Yes,
So I
sir.
just struggle to try to bring myself into the oneness of Allah and work to make myself a better person than I was yesterday. And but when we live in, and you see one of the things that really angered me about the street life and what's going on today is that this baby has been killed. And I see the activists and I see the actors for the
Mm.
camera. And
Mm.
and when you see these things, I say, man, we can't try to run for the crown and flee the cross. I say, because that we all want to leave the cross behind, and you can never, brother Joshua, worry about how many people lives you would change. Just say with your podcast, never worry about the numbers. Just worried about the right people are listening at the right time.
Yes, sir.
I have a small son, and he asks me. He likes to eat apples, right? He's like, "Hey, Dad, I want an apple." So I got out, and cut him an apple in half, and then I looked at the inside of the apple, and it was like 4 seeds. And I say, "Wow!" So I cut another apple in half, 4 seeds. So I
Mm.
cut a whole bag of apples in half. Now there was one apple in there that had 5 seeds, right? Now my point with why I'm telling you this is that you could count the seeds that are in the apple, But think if you just take one of those seeds and plant it, you'll never count the apples that come from that tree. So it's all about just getting that one, man, and changing that one. And man, the work that we have been given and the messages that we have been given are life-changing messages, man. I mean, I grew up inside of the penitentiary. I grew up inside of gang banging. I grew up and was intimately in love with gang banging. And I had all of the riches and spoils of the world. And that was why it was so hard. So many people say, well, once you got with them Muslims, you really changed. Why is that? I was like, man, it's not about being with the Muslims. It's about finding God. And they said, well, what took you so long to look for God? I said, well, I never looked for God. God looked for me.
Come on and
God
teach.
called me. God called me. And I tell people all the time, I say, man, let me tell you this. It's super hard for you to even look for God when you got so many ignorant people treating you like you are a God because of the material stuff that you have. And one of the things when we talk about the music industry, brother, um, we may not fully understand what's going on, but if you have a man such as the minister that's continuing to inject the love of Black people, the love of self, and the love of Black life into the people. And then you have the enemy that controls the music industry that won't sign a conscious rapper, but will sign a ignorant rapper to a contract for very little money and put that message out there. So now we have rappers that's beefing with other rappers, destroying themselves. And what I'm telling them when individuals ask me, I say, if you believe in a Satan, then you can look and see the man of God preaching from his podium, and you can see Satan ministers preaching from their podiums. The only thing is that you look at Satan ministers as entertainers, and they are entertaining you, but with the wrong message. The message of hate for self, the message of kill each other. And I always get sickened when we go out to protest. And they say, well, we need to call such and such. Well, why he ain't been out here? We got to call him. If he was true to the mission, he'd be out here. And I say, we don't need him to come in. If his message yesterday was about killing a brother, then why bring him in today because the police to kill somebody and have him screaming for justice, but then he go right back to killing the brother? It's almost like the entertainers be saying, yeah, you know, I ain't want that white police officer to kill George Floyd. I wanted to kill that nigga. You see what I'm saying? So we have to get away from that type of mentality. And if Black lives is ever gonna matter, it has to start with us. If we don't make Black lives matter a way of life, brother, then nobody is gonna respect it. We could get in a protest and go in front of the White House and go into the White House and scream Black Lives Matter. But if we don't do it at the crack house, the smack house, and the abortion house, we ain't done a damn thing, brother. So we got to make Black Lives Matter a way of living, bro.
Go ahead and teach. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Some people showing you love across the country. My sister name is to teach. Yes, sir. And people are liking it and sharing it. Thank you all very much. Brother Silky Slim, I wish that when I saw you at Savers Day, we had a chance to talk face to face. I know we was just rushing past each other. But man, this is an honor that to hear you speak, and this is powerful. Thank you very much.
I mean, you have to realize, brother, is that we can't get caught up saying that we believe in Allah and not really believe in Allah. It's a waste of time to do that. And people will say, you know, and that's one of the things, even in the Muslim faith, we still have a certain group of Muslims that are stuck in the old ways. So when they see a Silky Slim, or they see a Derek Muhammad, or they see a Wizard Islam, or you see a young Ben X, hey man, you know, the teacher said that it's Islam, not your Islam. Well, hey, why you ain't out there ringing your alarm? Because if we all ring it, we gonna get something. You know what I'm saying? So I never get caught up in that. And you know, you have brothers that will definitely say, "Hey man, I seen the brother eating before 4 o'clock. Yeah, I was hungry. Got me something to eat. You know what I'm saying? So I take it all, man, and I look at it and I say we have to be better than what we are. And at the end of the day, we have to become more active. I've been around for a minute and they got some brothers that, man, they will hooray the minister, preach, brother minister, preach. And then after service, man, did you hear what the minister say? Hell yeah, I'm trying to go out there and say and do what the minister say do. I'm gonna go try to fish in some people. You know what I'm saying? So we have to become better than what we are. And one of the most hurting things, brother, that happened is that it was that protest that was taking place, and the old lady, she say, Silky Slim, she say, Silky Slim. I say, yes, ma'am. She say, boy, you really finna get some help. I say, yeah. I say, who's gonna help me? She say, they say the Muslims coming back. I say, where they been? See, I don't know where they been, but they say they coming back. Nobody should ever have a feeling that we've been anywhere.
Mm.
And that's because we haven't been as active in the streets as we should be, especially when it comes down to out here changing the world for our people, man. I think that is super important for us to be seen. And when I go to any city right now, because I don't know if Brother O told you, my job is me and Attorney Ben Crump. We walk hand in hand every day.
Mm.
And
Mm.
when we're out there, the first thing that I would do, I would pick up the phone and call Brother Don. Hey, beloved, find out who the minister is, and let them know we're in town. If they want to stand with us, they can, because this is a very important issue that we're dealing with. So all of these things are super important for us to be able to connect with each other across the country and make sure that we keep this banner high, man, and let people know where we are and what we stand for.
All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay, great. And people are showing you love, saying teach, preach, and that's right. I can't wait to put this on YouTube as well. Okay. My next question is fear. Have you ever been faced with fear? And if so, how have you overcome fear?
Brother, I've been shot so many times, and I went to prison. I was 16 years old. I didn't have time to have fear. When I got to prison, the first night that I was in prison, Brother Joshua, I'm a 16-year-old and I'm in with a couple of other youngsters, but we're in adult prison. And an individual put a knife up under another individual's bed. And when he found the knife up under his pillow, he took it to the free man and he gave it to him. Oh, man, I'm trying to go home. And the free man cut the lights on. And he said, who put this knife up under that boy bed? He said, Willie Johnson, get up here. Old guy came, stood up there. Say, you put this knife up under that boy bed? He said, no, sir. He said, go get back in your bed. He gave the knife back to the youngster. He said, listen here, boy. You keep this knife because old Willie Johnson, he hung like a mule. And I think he like you. I ain't had time to be scared from there on. I had to be a man under those circumstances, else I would have came out as one of the individuals that got turned out. So I had to be a man. So once I realized, I was like, man, and that's the thing I could tell anybody today. And I always use that. If I could let a man lock me in a cage for 23 hours a day and let me out for 1 hour a day and walk the yard, and it don't drive me crazy and it didn't scare me, nothing else can fear me. Nothing can fear me. So when I'm out there, I take on the real meaning of what people say. They got people out there, they'll say, well, I believe in Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ is Lord and King. And somebody, one thing when I was in the game, people always ask me that, why did you join the game? I wanted something that people feared more than God. Do you know what that is, brother?
What's that?
Violence. People fear violence more than God, boy. And the second thing that they fear more than God is the so-called devil. In fact, that's why they look for God, because they scared of what the devil is supposed to do to them, right? So when you figure it out, I was like, man, I don't have time to be afraid of anything because I wasted too much time being on the devil's team. So I got to get out here and do everything that I can so that Allah can forgive me for some of the sins that I have committed and make my burden just a little bit more lighter. That's all I'm trying to do.
So Slim just gave us some real, my goodness. Okay, we gotta double back to the story. We gotta double back to the story now.
Mm-hmm.
So you 16, you in there, and is it one-on-one? Like how you fighting to make sure that nobody rape you? Like how does that work? And like what's Like, how does that?
I was so well known, brother. But one thing that prison taught me when I got off the bus, I was so well known. People were Silky Slim, Silky Slim. Me and the free man got into it. You know what the gangsters were saying on the other side of the fence? Hey, Silk, man, you can't win, bro. Chill out. And I noticed that. And then I noticed one time I was in the dormitory and I was fighting, and we heard the handcuffs and we heard the keys coming down the wall. The first thing they say, hey, here come the man. All of us ran and sat on our bed. The man opened the door. He asked the question, who fighting? Nobody wasn't fighting. Who fighting? Nobody wasn't fighting. But when he closed that door, you know what I said? I say, damn, we supposed to be the gangsters. And he just opened the door. And we know one thing, he gonna beat the hell out of us if we say we was fighting. So that let me know that we wasn't no real gangsters, brother. And when I was in prison, I was in my bunk, and I had a bad habit every morning of jumping out my bunk and grab a newspaper before my cellie did. And one day my cellie just sat there and watched me, and he said, "Hey man, you through with the newspaper?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You read?" I said, "Yeah, man. You can get it." He said, well, "What was in there?" I said, "What you mean what was in there?" He said, "You read the paper? What you read?" I said, "Somebody got killed," because I had seen the police car with the yellow tape. He said, "Where at?" I said, "Oh, I ain't even take time to see where it was at." And he looked, and he seen me welling up. He said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "Boy, you 16. He said, "I'm 66. I've been here since I was 17. He said, "You do the math." He said, "So in 10 years, they're going to move you down the walk and put you in Dome 1. He say, in 10 more years, you'll be in Dome 2. He say, in another 10 years, you'll be in Dome 3. He say, in the next 10 years, you'll be in Dome 4. What you see in Dome 4? I said, "That's the wheelchair gang." He said, "Why they in the wheelchair?" I said, "Because they too old. That's what's going to happen to you, you stupid nigga." He said, "You can't read." And he said, "How in the hell you going to get out of here if you can't read?" So he would take Crown Royal grease and wrap it up on toilet paper and light it with a cigarette lighter. And he would teach me how to read after the lights went out. And once I learned how to read, I started reading about history. And then I read Message to the Black Man. And then I started reading about slavery. And I started telling people that, hey, man, we in slavery. And you know what they started saying, Brother John? Man, the white folks drove that Negro crazy talking about we in slavery. No, if we getting up going in the field at 5 o'clock every morning and we getting 27 cents a day, if that ain't slavery, you tell me what it is. Then they take the 27 cents away from it if you want good time. So you working for free. That was slavery to me. And I think I lie right now. There was an old white man named Sergeant Thomas. And Sergeant Thomas would work me to death. When he come to work, he said, what that read at? What's Silky Slim at? I'd be hiding sometimes. He say, tell Silky Slim if he ain't figured it out, he can't go nowhere and I ain't got nowhere to go. I'ma find him. And when he find me, he would work the hell out of me. One day it was raining. I had on some white Converse and I was standing on the walk waiting on my visit. He said, Reed, I got something for you to do. I said, man, I'm finna go visit. Now, if you don't go do it, it's called disobeying a direct order. They're going to put you back there on that slab for 90 days. You want that? I say, no, sir. Come on. He walking through the mud in his cowboy boots. He telling me to come behind him. I said, I'm going to walk on the sidewalk. Read. Disobey, else is disobeying a direct order. I'm walking in the mud with my Converse on. Took me over there and made me crush cans all day till my visit came. I had to go to visit with muddy tennis shoes on. And the day that I was going home, he stuck the key inside of the gate and he stopped, took his hat off. He said, Reed, well, we done had some times, haven't we? I said, yeah, Sergeant Thomas, but I ain't coming back. He said, oh, Reed, you'll be back. This all you know. You've been here half your life. I said, I know, but I ain't coming back, Sergeant Thomas, I promise. He said, Reed, I'll be here when you get back. When I got back, Sergeant Thomas was sitting in the back of the room. I was on the podium. I say, Sergeant Thomas, I owe you an apology. I told you I wasn't coming back. I say, but I'm going back home, so just bear with me. He said, so far, he didn't say you changed. He didn't say I see the work that you're doing. He didn't say I see you as a person that's leading individuals to try to stay out of prison. You know what he said? So far, Reed, you're proving me wrong. Just keep proving me wrong. In his mind, Like, I don't believe none of that stuff you're doing. I know you, but he knew the old me, not the one that Allah had created, brother.
All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay, great. And people are showing you love all across the country. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad says, salute to Silky Slim, one of the best to ever do it. He spoke in Austin twice. It was a phenomenal each time. And Sister Captain Brenda says, all praises due to Allah. Okay, brother, we have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. And we're coming right back to our brother Silky Slim, who's dropping, man, this is, I can't wait to chop this up to post on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We make sure we promote this. I want to thank everyone who's been a sponsor during the holy month of Ramadan. If you'd like to be a sponsor or donor, please cash app the People's Podcast. We greatly appreciate it. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of that. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me, children's book, coloring book, and book in Spanish now. All three on Amazon. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. And right here in the studio of Atlanta, Georgia, we love our tiny dancers. Raw Communications. If you're working on a book and you need copy editing, project management, content development, or media relations, please reach out to Raw Communications. Fashion Guides, Urban Streetwear, 314-329-6009. He'll keep you dressed in the best of fashion and dripping. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad, Conflict Mediation, squashing the beef throughout the Southwest region. Out of Austin, Texas, he does a phenomenal job. Children of the Most High, his wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad, giving birth to a God in the science of child rearing. Also, Sister Sherry Muhammad, Asiatic Minds, teaching STEM virtually to young kings and queens all across the country. Asiaticminds.com. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the nation. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services out of Chicago. My father's book, Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Right back to our brother Silky Slim and all people who are showing love to you. Okay, so that the last time you saw the sergeant, when you got out, did you ever see him since you've been free?
Well, I was free. The last time I saw him, I was in giving a lecture.
Oh, you was giving a lecture. Okay.
I was teaching pre-release. Yeah.
Okay. I understand.
I go back. Yeah, because I have this program what we call a mother's cry, and we take mothers that their children has been murdered, and we take them back into the prison, and they get a chance to sit down with these murderers, right? And that was something that, just like I say, but I never looked for the enemy to validate me. I never look for the enemy to say he see me change. The enemy is supposed to see me the same way I see the enemy. I know who he is. Now, what is so crazy to me, Brother Josh, is that we've heard the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes,
we've
sir.
heard Minister Louis Farrakhan for years, and they have taught us about who these people are. But when they go and do something wicked as hell, the first thing, I can't believe they said that. And sometimes I've been facing situations because I went to a meeting and I wanted this program inside the school so bad. So I was just, man, come on, man. And he was sitting behind the desk. And then I read his mind. He said, nah, I know this ain't the same Silky Slim that's out there telling people I'm the devil and he don't believe it himself. I said, you know what? I say, listen. I say, I'm not gonna waste your time and I'm not gonna waste mine. I say, thank you for taking this meeting with me, but I understand your stance. And his stance was, I would be a fool to help you take your people out of the condition that my people taught me to put them in. That was his stance.
Go ahead and teach.
His stance. And that's what I tell people today. I say, listen, I was looking at the fight yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to see the Tyson Fury fight, right?
Go ahead. Okay.
Tyson Fury say, I'm the baddest man on the planet. And he could say that because they don't have nobody that can beat him yet. And that's what I tell people. I say, now listen, how that go? I was sitting with my boy. I say, now how that go is that you know not to go to Tyson Fury and ask him to train you to beat him. What he gonna tell you?
Mm,
Crazy, right? But
mm,
that's how it is with us sending our kids to other people's place of education, thinking that they're gonna educate our kids to beat their kids. We gotta
mm.
be fools.
Yes,
We
sir. Yes,
gotta
sir.
be fools. The best school for our people is our own school.
Go ahead and
You
teach.
go and train yourself to beat them, then call them out to the ring. Come on, we finna see who the champ is
Yes,
now.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
We
sir.
finna see who the champ is. So that's what we have to start indoctrinating into our kids just how great we are. And we always have to listen to the inner voice and listen to the things that God is putting into us. I'm gonna share this story with you. Um, 2003 was my transformation, and I was on my way uh, to do a drug run in Los Angeles from Louisiana, and my boy called. I'm coming, and when I got in the car, just like I'm talking to you, I could hear a voice in my head. Go kiss your mom, and you ain't gonna see her no more. First thing I said, damn, mama finna die. I went back and knocked on the door, gave my mama a kiss. He said, baby, I hope you make it back. I said, all right, mom. Got in the car, we traveled. We get way down in El Paso, Texas. That's a long ways from Louisiana. I get hungry. I say, man, let's go get something to eat. We get off the bridge. And when we get off the bridge, that voice came back in my head again. Say, look at that sign. I said, man, what the hell is wrong with me? I looked outside and I looked at the sign. It was a billboard. And it had a real car up on the billboard, but it was all crushed up. At the bottom, it say, everybody wore a seatbelt, everybody live. I never wore a seatbelt in my life. But Allah put the fear of death on me, and I put that seatbelt on. All my gang banging partners was in there. Boy, you turning P. Boy, he got on a seatbelt. He's scared. He did see that. I say, man, something told me to look at that sign. I said, I don't know what's going on. I got real scared. I got so scared to when I got to my connection to LA, he was reaching for his beeper, and I grabbed him and wrestled him down. Thought he was pulling out a gun. I said, what you doing? He said, man, son, what's wrong with you? I started crying. I said, man, I feel my death, bro. I feel like I'm finna die. He said, well, we ain't gonna kill you, man. We homeboys, man. You better stop tripping. Sold us the drugs. We went, partied, and did everything. January the 11th, we headed back to Louisiana. And I took the seatbelt off and covered up with a blanket. That same voice came back. Say, put it back on. Look outside. And I raised up. I said, man, I gotta be losing my mind. I looked outside, it was drizzling. I say, Al, man, slow down, bro. It's raining out there. Doing 77 miles an hour. Say, man, I ain't got time for you to be with that scary foolishness. I'm trying to get back and pay my income tax. Instantly, an 18-wheeler switched lanes and hit the front of the Tahoe and knocked us over the side of the mountain. Everybody died in there except me. I was the only one that had on the seatbelt. And as soon as I came and got out of the truck, the first thing I heard was the voice again. I brought you out of that. Now what you gonna do for me? So that's where my transformation came from. That's why I started turning my life around. And just because you can hear and you can understand that Allah has communicated something to you, you still won't change your ways. That's what I tell people. Ain't no way you're gonna just go to the mosque and hear a good message and say, oh, I'm saved. Look, I ain't doing none of them bad things no more. You're gonna go back doing the same old ratchet stuff you was doing before. But you start to discipline yourself so that you can make the changes that you want to. So I wasn't really, for the moment, I prayed. For the moment, I thank God for saving my life, but I went right back to selling dope. And I went to the funeral. And when I left the funeral, when I made it back to my house, I was in my backyard. I was fishing. I caught a little bitty baby fish, brother. And I took the hook out of his mouth and threw him in the water. And he was just flopping on top of the water. I just seen all my friends die. Man, I started crying and I prayed the realest prayer that I ever prayed in my life. Voice came back. Voice came back, say, watch the glory of the Lord. I stood up and was waiting on the fish to just swim down in the water. And then I got mad and broke my fishing pole. Say, man, I thought I heard God talking to me again. And out of nowhere, a white bird came and swooped the fish up out the water. Gloosh! You know what I say? I say, boy, God, that's a good one. The dying fish fed the hungry bird so it didn't go to waste. Boy, say, how can you have so much mercy for my smallest creature, yet go out and try to kill my greatest, which is man, every day? I put my gun down then and I never picked it back up again. Never, never.
Beautiful, sir. My goodness.
Never picked it back up. I've never picked it back up, brother. And I tell people, I was like, when you know that God is real and you understand how God has worked in your life, sometimes, Brother Joshua, because I know how the minister has sacrificed his life for us, right? I know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left us life-giving teachings. I know all of these things, and sometimes I will always say, man, I was better or I was in better shape when I was a drug dealer or when I was on PCP because I didn't have the knowledge. And now that I say I know and I still find myself doing wrong, I am in worse shape than those that are out there that's lost. Well, I can't look down on the prostitute because they don't say they know.
That's right.
I say I'm a believer.
Go
So
ahead.
when I go out there and do things other than myself, it eats me up on the inside. It eats me up on the inside because I know, I believe, but I still find myself with foolish ways sometimes. So I ain't gonna be the one that walk around with the bow tie on and the oil on every day. And yeah, all praise is due to Allah. You might catch me one day, man. And this has happened. People that know me that's in the nation already know. Brother Terrence called me and he chastised me one day. He said, brother, man, you representing the man of God and you punch somebody. I said, yeah, because he said the wrong thing out of his mouth.
Mm.
So I still have to deal with those inner demons. Man, I spoke at this baby's funeral yesterday. And when I walked up to the mic, this is what I told the people. I say, you know what? I say, sometimes Satan, the devil, will follow you all the way to church. Why did I say that? I had just sat down in church and a lady asked to see my obituary and then told me it was hers. I say, how my obituary yours? Because mine was sitting right next to me and it ain't here no more. I said, woman, you gonna give me my obituary. I had to give you my obituary. And her daughter came back and said, Mama, what is you doing? He had stole my obituary. No, Mama, your obituary in my purse. But she had upset my spirit so bad. I was ready to fight in church. I struggled, beloved. I struggled. I lie if I say I didn't struggle.
Yes, sir.
But what really gives me the faith that I need is Ramadan. And when
Mm.
you open that Quran and say Allah created you for what? Struggle.
Yes,
That
sir.
lets me know that this is all a part of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it lets me know that this is all a part of it, beloved.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah, and people are showing love. My sister Miriam said powerful testimony. My sister Naima said a beautiful testimony. People were liking, sharing, and subscribe to the people's podcast. Okay, well, I want to go back to you and your decision to not carry a gun no more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you went back to the same neighborhood, same affiliation, and you was just good. You was
No, not all the time. Not
okay.
because brother Jesse, with brother Keon now, he knows because he's been to my home. And what happened is that I started a gang when I was like 14, 15 years old. That gang is still active, right? And other gangs, so I was living in a territory that my gang was beefing with, but I didn't have anything to do with it. And one of the BGs on their side, and this was 2012. I'm in the nation and everything. One of the BGs on that side, they shot my house up. I mean, 21 shots. They shot my house up. And the thing was, when they showed me the youngster who did it, when I looked at him, I looked at my little boy. Now, here is how Allah tested me. I had brothers that came to me that was in the gang that I'm in and say, hey, Slim, say, bro, you know who did it, bro? You want us to take care of it? I say, no. Say, why? I say, man, I'm stop the killing. Hey, who gonna know? If you know, that's too many. That's one brother. Another one, Slim, you want me to take care of that? Allah made me realize that you want me to take care of that. That's what everybody was asking me. And you know what Allah had put in my spirit? If they wanted to take care of it, it'll already be done. They want the blood on your hands. I stepped away. I was like, nah. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna prove to y'all that ain't nobody trying to kill me. I'm still in the street. They just want me out their neighborhood. If they wanted to kill me, I'd be dead now. I'm still in the streets. So no, I don't need a gun. I don't have beef, and I'm not afraid. I don't pick up the gun because I know how the gun works. The
Yes, sir.
gun is a tool, brother. You can take a gun and you put that gun on your side. You get into it with somebody, and somebody just punch you in the mouth, or somebody slap you like Brother Will did Chris, right? So somebody slap you, right? You got the gun. The gun gonna start talking to you. Man,
Yes.
he just punked you. And then by us being a powerless people, when we pull that gun out and we see people moving, oh Lord, he got a gun. We feel real powerful.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Everybody ducking and running. Next thing you know, you just shot a bullet and that body didn't drop. Now you know what happens then? I done been behind the gun, brother. You know what happens then? That gun's still talking to you. You know what that gun say then? Oh, you in trouble. That's why you see what I'm gonna do now. What I'm gonna do now? Because now you realize what you have done, and you don't realize the consequences until you standing in front of that white man with the black judge robe on. Son, you're being charged with second-degree murder, and that does carry a life in prison. And so you have money for an attorney. You ain't thought about all that. So if I don't put myself in a position for the gun to talk to me, if it's somewhere where I could go get it, at least before I get to it, I got time to think. If I got it right there on me, I ain't not think. So if I got to go get it, look, boy, I remember how hard it was in them fields. I remember them hot 120-degree days out there in that field cutting and picking. Man, I got to share that story with you, brother.
Do you think?
Is one day we out in the field and we picking, right? And I'm hiding from the free man. And the free man, he done rolled up behind me and caught me hiding. I'm looking for him. I'm looking, and he behind me. He put that gun to the back of my head. Say, Reed, if I catch you not working again, I'll put a hole in you in the state of raise my damn pay. You hear me? And when I turned around and looked at him, it reminded me of a scene I seen in Roots. I say, Lord, have mercy. This is modern day slavery. That's all prison is. It's modern day slavery. The man, the master is still there. And when you get out there in the field, I don't know how it is. I've been in prison in California and I've been in prison in Louisiana. California is different. But in Louisiana, you got a Negro. They call him the head Negro, but they call him the head, you know what. And his job is when we get out there early in the morning, he pull that harmonica out. We got the axe sling blade in our hand. He see that man on that big white horse? Some call him master, I call him boss. If that ain't slavery, see that man work me like a Hebrew slave. That's how we get our rhythm to cut the whole line that we gotta cut. That goes on every morning. And brother, one of the things that actually, and I just was talking about this, I got some bleach thrown in my eyes in prison, right? And I couldn't see. And they started taking me to the doctor. I had to go to have eye surgeries and stuff like that to get my vision back. And I had got my vision back, man. And they took me to this big hospital in New Orleans called Charity Hospital. And smoking outside the building, you know how that goes. So they had probably around about 30 or 40 or 50 people out there, doctors and everybody out there smoking cigarettes. And the van pulled up to the top of the ramp. And white men got out and they opened the doors. And I got on 10 feet of chains. And I stepped off of that van and stood up with all those chains and looked around. They had a little bitty old black lady. She was so short. She had a bandana tied on her head with some old dirty slippers on and a little baby. And she helped change my life. You know what she say? She told that little baby, look at that bad man. That bad man gonna get you. I'm gonna let that bad man get you. And I'm standing there, I'm looking for the bad man. And I say, brother, I cried. I say, damn, I done became the bad man. See, that bad man gonna get you. And the baby standing behind her, looking around. I'm gonna let that bad man get you. Look at her. Look at that bad man. I felt like a slave, brother. The white people, they done bagged up with their cigarettes looking. I was like, Lord, and it hurted me that she did me that. But if she wouldn't have did me that, I would have continued to be the damn fool that I was, walking around sticking my chest out because I was proud to be in prison, brother. So the knowledge and the teachers did so much for us, brother. It did a lot for us inside of those institutions, brother. Believe that.
All praises due to Allah. Okay, yes, sir. And people are showing you love all over the country. I want to go back to this term you keep using, the free man. The free man. Who
Yes,
is the
sir.
free man?
The free man is the one that go home and the one that keep the slaves locked up.
Oh, so the CO, the CO,
The
the CO.
CO,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Uh,
okay,
we,
okay.
we, 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 we Southern boys, so we call him the free man. So
Yes, sir.
we
Yes,
call him,
sir.
because that's what he is. He the free man, you know. And, you know, I had, man, I had so many stories. Like, they were people that come there, we call them, you know, they COs, but they come there with blue jeans on first before they get their uniform. So it was one, his name was Captain Ewan. And in prison, we call ourselves, you know, I mean, I'm a full bird general. I've been here 7 years. I'm a general. I'm a general. So one day I was talking to the captain, and I say, Captain Ewan, I say, what's up, Slim? I say, man, I was here when you came in blue jeans. I said, if you're a captain, what that make me? He say, well, Slim, man, I guess that make you a career criminal.
Mm.
That cut a light on in my head. Why I'm in here talking about I'm a general? No, I'm a career slave here. He working the hell out of me, and I just had to wake up. And once I woke up, I was like, man, I would never want to go back. Never, never, brother. And I hate when these artists feed this image to this generation about how good prison is. I heard Kevin Gates do that to some young folks, and oh yeah, it's just in our it ain't in our mentality to be locked up. You're a fool. You're a fool if you say that. It's not in our mentality to be locked up. We live in a society that would lock us up quickly, and we're foolish enough to embrace being locked up. But at the end of the day, prison is a life for nobody.
Yes, sir.
Prison is not a life for anybody. I tell young brothers, man, don't be tricked into that trade, because once you see who really run the prison, they had a young black lieutenant, probably about 27 years old. We got off the bus. He walking down the line. He looking at us, smiling. Say, I want to thank all you stupid NIGGERSs for coming here. He said, because of you, my little boy can have that PlayStation, that bicycle, that mini bike. Say, keep coming, because you keep me with a job. Say, go ahead, keep coming. Thank y'all for coming. I want to thank you for coming. And those words just was waking me up all of the time. I was like, man, he right. I got a son locked up right now, and I tell my son, I say, son, yeah, daddy, man, the warden up there. I say, son, you can't tell me about the warden. You can't tell me you don't like the warden. I say, you see that pretty truck he drive up in every day? Yeah. I say, you help him pay the note on it. Because he getting paid $175 for you every day that you in there, whether you move or not. So we can't continue to embrace the prison lifestyle and make that as some badge of honor. It's not. And man, I went to the White House, right? And the night before, and Allah has a way of humbling you. You know, I went in prison at, like you said, a young age. I didn't get raped. I came out a man. And I was kind of hardy, like, I'm getting ready to go in the White House, boy. It's like, Lord, I've been in prison. I ain't get raped, you know, and I'm out here. And God had to stop me. Say, wait a minute, son. Maybe you're not looking at this the right way. And maybe you could help other people understand this. No, you didn't physically get raped. Nobody held you down and raped you. But every time you came in from visit or you came in from working in that yard, when they tell you to strip and take off all your clothes, turn around and open up your butt cheeks and cough, and somebody's looking in your behind with a flashlight, you get mentally raped. You get mentally raped. I said that one time on the radio, and people flooded my DM, partners from prison. Man, Slim, bro, why you said that? I say, because it's the truth. I say, mentally, they rape the hell out of us every day. It's search down a strip search, man, when you coming off a visit, strip search for this, and then they got certain people that are just, you could be talking, me and you could be talking, and two women, I mean, that's when I really start to feel humiliated, when women start working in prison. They strip you down and stand you on the walk outside, and all the other prisoners just walking back and forth, and you out there standing up naked with your hands over your private part. If that ain't humiliating, I was like, man, I never want to go back to that madness, brother. And always know that you are blessed, man, because they got so many young brothers like people that I meet inside the nation that actually came up with the nation, with parents in the nation. I wish that was me, brother. I wish I didn't have to go through the hell that I went through. In that other world, yeah, it looks fair seeming, but it's hell. It's hell. Man, at a very young age, my younger brother and my best friend, my very best friend, we got into it with another gang, and my brother was trying to shoot somebody from the other gang, and the bullet went through the car and struck my best friend. He died in my hands.
Dang.
And my brother has not been right since, bro. He never got it together. He never got it together. So you didn't miss anything. They didn't. People be, oh man, y'all missing this. No, you missing hell. It looks fun. That's the tricky part about it. It looks fun, brother. It looks fun, brother. But hey, man. But once you get out there and you really get out there, you realize, man, the nation was like a refuge for me. I was like, Lord, have mercy. Why I ain't been found out about this? You know what I'm saying? So that question you asked about putting the gun down, man, I'll never pick it up because I don't think there's anything valuable enough for me to take my brother's life, right? I don't think that. And one thing I know is that um combat with the enemy, we ain't prepared for that. We ain't the little guns that we got is nothing compared to what's out there. So I don't need a gun. I'm foolish enough to believe what people be saying. When Jesus got my back, I'm foolish enough to believe my Allah got me everywhere I go. I'm just foolish enough to believe that, and it hasn't failed me yet. And I had people that tried to challenge me because recently, a witness to a murder had got out. It was out in the streets, and he got murdered himself. And they say, "You see that? You see how he got killed?" I say that was sad. I say, but I'm gonna tell you something. I say what I seen was when he got out after he started being a witness to the murder. I seen him start packing that gun. I say so. He put his faith in that gun, and allow him to have to protect himself. You put your faith in Allah, then Allah will protect you, and that's where you got to keep your faith at. But once you pick that gun up, that's okay. That you believe in the gun. See what I'm saying, brother? Yeah.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. And people are just giving me so much positive feedback. Okay, I got a question. I asked a brother earlier who's from Chicago. He was a 5-title boxer, south side of Chicago. He was talking about the crime rate in Chicago. And I asked him, why do you still stay there? You know what I'm saying? Raising sons and things like that. New Orleans, I don't know, because I've driven through, but I was a big fan of Lil Wayne and Juvenile, like the South. It seemed like it's always pressure. Why do you still stay there if you know what I'm saying, that climate? Why didn't you ever want to move away?
Well, I lived in South Central. I was raised in South Central. Currently, I'm living in Houston ever since the murder of George Floyd. That was a case that I worked on diligently. So that case actually moved me to Houston with the Floyd family. So I've been with them for 2 years, but I have my own place. But my job is to help them coordinate and work through these things that they're working with. So, but as far as um, why people don't leave, I'll give you an example. This young 3-year-old baby was killed in a house, but the house wasn't being shot up for the baby. The next door neighbor's house was being shot up, right? That house had been shot up 3 times. Why they didn't move? They couldn't afford to. It's all about where you at. And that is one of the things, brother, that has this right here has become our biggest enemy. Cell phone. Instagram give a nobody a place to think they somebody.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
They beef back and forth. Now what happens is that some of them are so stricken in poverty to they can't move. Their mama can't move. So when the house gets shot up, they stuck there. The house gets shot up, they stuck there, and then an innocent baby get killed. So a lot of people are not able to move, right? I've always been able to move, but you got to remember one thing, that I was out there, one of the devils that was causing the havoc.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. And that's why I tell people, some people say, well, we don't know if he's real. We don't know if he's really changed. Let me tell you this, brother. With all that I had, you would have to see one of my presentations. I had the cars, 6,800 square foot home. I had the money. I had all of that, but I didn't have peace. I was, anticipation of death is worse than death itself. I
Mm,
didn't have peace, brother. And once I gave up all of those things, once I got stripped of all of that, I got something now that I never had then, and that's peace.
mm,
So I was willing, but my thing was that you could rest assured that God called me because I was willing to die in the hell that I was in because I had so many riches. I had all the cars. I could walk and I could go any place I want to. I was balling out of control. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't worried about it, man. And in fact, you have to watch what you tell people. I got a real close friend, and when you was in my clique, I'm talking about we had pages back then. If you called me, you might have hit 225-383-3711-666. That was our code, 666. So when I see 666, I know that's one of my people. You go look at some of my music. You go look at Pop Me to Stop Me, and you look at my release number is FR666. All of my release dates on my albums was 666. I told my people, I said, man, we rocking with the devil. He say, what? I said, yeah, man, that's what we rocking with. We rocking with Satan. I understood. I was out there in the devil's world and I was doing the work of the devil. I understood. I said, man, we rocking with the devil. Recently, here it is, 37 years later, I'm talking to him. And I say, brother, man, you just don't know how good Allah is. You don't know how good God is. You know what he told me? He said, man, Slim, bro, man, you really messing me up. I said, what you mean? He said, man, you told me you was rocking with the devil. Now you talking about God. I'm still with the devil. So you
mm,
got to watch what you tell people.
mm, mm,
And you asked me about conflicts. I have small conflicts in the hood. There was a young guy that wanted to be in a gang and nobody wanted him to. I let him rock with me. He rolled with me. He became a G in the set. And I seen him one day. And I seen him and he had a look on his face. So I backed my car up and I said, hey, Pop, what's wrong with you? He said, what's wrong with me? He took his shirt off. And every tattoo that I got, he got. He say, I'm representing the set. I'm doing what you taught me to do. I'm holding this down till you get your mind right. I say, no. When I created that, my mind wasn't right, bro. I say, and I'm sorry. I say, but he say, man, I'm doing what you taught me to do. I say, all right, because I know it could turn into something real ugly. I left. True story, brother. Last night I was at the gas station and he seen me. This was a couple of years ago when that happened, but he seen me at the gas station last night. You know what he say? There go my big dog. Assalamu alaikum, brother. I say, wa alaikum salam. He say, hey, brother, keep doing what you're doing. Allah has been blessing you, and I see you. And I told one of my right hand man that this morning. He say, man, Slim, I think he was sincere. I say, I could feel the sincerity in it.
mm.
I wanted to see what I wanted to do when he told me that. I wanted to go over to him and say, man, thank you for the love, because I needed that. I needed that from him because me and him was so close. But you know what I told him? I say, hey, man, you stay safe out there, man. He said, man, I love you, big dog. But just because he greeted me with the greetings was enough for me. And because he told me to stay doing what I'm doing, he see me. That let me know he understand it is what I'm doing now, and that he understand that this is needed, brother.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. People are giving me questions. Uh, man, okay, so moving forward, even though that was just last night, moving forward, because we all have different conflicts with people, we might have fallen out with. If you see somebody again, do you reach back out to be like, man, can we be cool again? Or you just, it's just, if, like, what happens with that situation?
Oh, you have to know what you're dealing with, man.
Mm,
I had a young lieutenant that my best friend was killed by my best friend, and it was because of the nearness to me at the time. And when I went to prison, I dealt with him pretty harshly. And he promised me that he was going to get out and kill me. And 2 years ago, he came home. Now, all the street people, including my family, Hey, man, you around here with that Farrakhan stuff, brother. You gotta get you a gun. Tim coming home. I say, man, it's in the hands of Allah. I said, I can't pick up a gun. I said, that's my way to go. It's already written. And he came home, and my first cousin called me and said, hey, man, Tim want to speak to you. I said, I don't want to talk to him. He said, nah, let's talk to him. So we got to see where his head at. So when I got on the phone, I said, yes. He said, hey, man, I seen you with the minister. He said, I want you to know I respect what you're doing, man. You don't have me to worry about. That's the power of Allah. That's the power of God, brother. You know, that's the power of Allah. And brother, anybody know. Brother Jeff knows from Houston. He knows Tim. This guy has killed so many people. He looked me in the face one day, brother. You have to watch my documentary.
I'm
I
watching.
talk about him on there. He looked me in the face one day. He said, man, Slim, I done killed so many people, bro, until I'm beginning to think I'm the devil. And brother Josh, you know, there's a young brother, man. When he see me, I always run and I hug him and I squeeze him real tight. And it was because one night it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and we were rolling. And he said, oh, there you go right there. And the brother was on the payphone. And man, he let the window down and I took beam on the brother. And when the brother turned around, he had my face on his body. He said, man, you got it, man. What you doing? And the brother took off and ran. I said, I couldn't do it. Allah was showing me every time you kill one of your own people, you're killing yourself. So when you look at To Live and Die in America's cover, my artwork on there is a Crip and a Blood, and both of them are me, and I'm pointing the gun at my own self. At the bottom, it say, either way it goes, you're killing your own self. That's the message that we got to give to our people.
Yes, sir.
Either way it go, when you kill one of your own, you're killing your own self, bro.
Mm. Yes, sir. Excellent.
Now, for them to realize that.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Okay, so my sister Naima says so true. Sister Captain Brenda said, yes, indeed, the power of Allah. My sister Miriam says, where can we view the documentary?
You could catch parts of To Live and Die in America. Now is To Live and Die is AMERIKKKA America, because the KKK stands for Kids Killing Kids. It's on. They have some of it on YouTube. It's on Amazon. It's out there. Man, it's a very well populated. It's real gruesome because what happens is that, as you will see on this documentary, we talking to real street gangsters. We talking to them and we, hey man, you think you're gonna get out alive? And man, I'm gonna leave that to a higher being, bro. But I got other people to live for. And then 7 days later, he had just got shot that day. He was getting out the hospital when I caught him. 7 days later, you see him stressed out in the streets with his gun still in his hand. So we don't clean it up. We don't wash it up at all. It's bloody. So it's a real bloody documentary, but it's real life, and it shows you how God allowed us to talk to these individuals and leave a message behind for these individuals that's going into that lifestyle. Is what To Live and Die in America is.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. We just have a few more questions for you, bro. Man, Silky Slim, you give me a lot to think about, and some people are showing you love. Okay, my next question, to lighten the mood up a little bit. Being an artist, I ask everybody who comes on the show, what's your favorite album of all time?
My favorite album of all time is Let's Change the World by the Honorable Minister Lil Farrakhan. Really though, really. I mean, really, man. And actually, man, you know, that shows you the heart of the minister. I like telling stories about the minister. 2018, the minister blessed me with a copy. I got a copy of Let's Change the World, the autographed copy, right? And we had a hurricane here last year, Hurricane Ida, right? Some people came to fix my roof and somebody stole it, man. Somebody stole it. So when you see me in the hotel on Savior's Day, I was being blessed with another copy signed by the minister then. Because man, I couldn't go. I mean, I was making all kind of calls, man. I need another copy. Man, that meant so much to me. I was heartbroken, man, for somebody to steal that, you know?
Crazy.
But praise be to Allah, I have another one. But as far as if you were to say the worldly music, man, and the rap music, man. I don't really have a favorite because I look at what has happened, and I'm writing this book, doing KRS-One and BEP, Public Enemy, and all of these individuals during their tenure. That was edutainment. It had education inside of it. And what they were doing, we're talking about the ills of the ghetto and how we wanted to overcome it. With the insurgence of gangster rap, when Eazy-E came in with gangster rap, it started glorifying the ills of the ghetto. And they had to do away with the edutaining side of it because they can't give you knowledge and dumb you down at the same time.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so they much rather see us dumbed down. And back in the early '90s, you couldn't talk about somebody's mama on the record. You couldn't talk sexual stuff on records and get it played on the radio. Now we're being bombarded with all of the foolishness, and by me being from the streets, I know all of these people. I know. I mean, I've been in the music industry all my life. So when you talk about a juvenile, I know juvenile. I know Lil Wayne when he was 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, Min Boosie, Gates, all of them. I know all of these cats. Most of these cats are not gangsters though. But they no, nah. But they talk it. They talk it though. But most of them are not gangsters. They talk it, you know. Most of them are not gangsters though. But for them to inject that into the generations to come, I mean, that is so sad. And that's what we have to stop. That's the foolishness that we have to give up on, man. And when you really look at it, it's only, I don't know if you know this, but you do your math on this. When you inside of the industry, there's only 32 slots inside of the industry. So you
Mm.
have 32 what they call mega stars. So you got Jay-Z, Beyonce. There's only 32 of those. The rest of them just keep the music industry rolling and going. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the chances of making it there, how many people go astray and how many people end up kind of like we were. So here it is. I'm 37 years old talking about I'm putting out another album. When you asked me why I stopped rapping, I had to wake up. I was like, wait a minute, I'm too old for this foolishness.
Mm.
You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And when you look at it, man, the messages that we conveying to our people, this murder and drill rap, man, that's bad. You have
Mm.
to be man enough to say that, bro. It's bad. And one of the things I heard the minister say one time, he said, the success of one of us without the success of all of us is no damn success at all.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
if we just see a few mannequins here and there, but when we look in the hood, we still see the wretched conditions, and we still getting calls about babies being killed or our brothers being killed, and all of these things, man. It's bad, bro. And what it's been maybe 3 years, and this was one of the most challenging times of my life. My baby brother, he went to college. He got tops in college where he didn't even have to pay for college. He was in mathematics, like wow, wow, wow. But he watched the lifestyle that we live. He started jacking people, and somebody shot his house up and killed him. And this was only 2 or 3 years ago. And if you look on my website, I got a piece on there that I wrote that said "All eyes on me," because everybody was saying this. Now we won't see if it's gonna be stopped the killing now. See,
Mm.
one of his own people that got killed. One of his own people that got killed. I want to see if it stopped the killing now. And my message has been the same. My baby brother knew better. And if he sacrificed his life to try to be something that he wasn't, may Allah be pleased with his soul. Because
Mm.
I can't go backwards. I can't go backwards, brother. I can't go. And man, I done had so many challenges, and Allah constantly uh, tries me with error. It's certain drugs that only I may know how to look up and hook up, right? And a young man knocked on my door. A young man knocked on my door. He's like, "Hey man, look, I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, I'll pay you X amount of dollars just to hook it up for me." I say, "Clyde, I can't do it." He say, "Why?" I say, "Man, I can't, bro." I say, "Because, man, I'm a changed man." He said, "Man, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Who gonna know?" I said, "You gonna know." I
Mm.
say, "If you know, when you get mad, you expose me." And I
Mm.
got to give you this testimony, brother, because I like to walk late at night. So I'm walking like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I know all the gangster kind of cars, right? So I'm in the hood now. I don't live there, but I'm walking in the hood at 3 o'clock in the morning. Gangster car pull up with tinted windows. I say, oh Lord, I hope this ain't somebody I done did some dirt to about to just get me to get me. That's in your hands, Allah. You know, the windows come down. I like, oh yeah, they gonna get me. But I don't run. And that PCP came out of that car. Say, my nigga, what's happening? I say, who that is? This Gregory Boo and Lil Mike. I say, man, where y'all coming from? Man, we just coming from getting that wet, bro. You want some? I said, no. The passenger. He said, man, say, bro, you know how jam me and you are, man. Smoke one last one with your boy. The driver. Say, Silky Slim, bro. I respect you as a man of God. The passenger. Man, don't listen to him, bro. Man, smoke one with your boy for one last time, bro. Who gonna know? The driver. Hit the doors. Say, Slim, I told you. I respect you as a man of God. Now, if that don't mean nothing to you, get on in. I say, boy, that's God and the devil in there at the same time. I say, man, I can't do it. Now, here's the thing about it though. That happened for a reason. Because they got wet that night, and everybody knows this because I spoke it at his funeral. They got wet that night, and the driver thought that somebody was coming to get him, stopped the car on the interstate, and jumped over the bridge and killed himself. And I told his mom, I said, you know what? I said, God used him to save me. I said, because Gregory Boo was trying to get me to smoke one more time. And I said, I might would have been the one that jumped over the bridge. I said, he told me he respected me as a man of God. She said, baby, you got to tell that. I spoke that at his funeral, bro. I smoked that. So God will put you in trying situations, but you never know what your outcome may be. You know what I'm saying? God only gonna hold you back so far, and then he gonna give you the opportunity. Now you say you didn't change, prove it. You know, and that was hard to do. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna say I stood up like a man. I was about to get in there because it smelled so good. You know what I'm saying? I was like, boy, I ain't smelled that in a while. And you know what, man? He right. Who gonna know at this time tonight? And he telling me, man, I respect you as a man of God. Now, if that don't mean nothing, get on in. I say, boy, that's God and the devil at the same time. So think about those decisions. Just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us. Think 5 times before you even act or anything, bro. You got to think, man. And sometimes we just don't think, and that costs us so much.
Beautiful. Yes, so I got 2 more questions for you, but people are showing you love, and I can't wait to put this on YouTube. Coming from no fear and everything that you've been through in life, how does one balance that out with looking for love?
Looking for love. Whew, that's a tough. Hey man, it depends on what you consider love to be. Like when I was in the streets, I was pretty rough, pimp and whatever. And I could tell a woman that I love her, but I turn around and beat the hell out of her, you know? And that wasn't love, but I thought it was. And man, um, I recently had to really apologize to my oldest child's mother, and you see me tearing up because she took some hell of a beatings, but just to be a part of the operation that I was running, And she's a wonderful woman, and I wish I would have been the man that I am now when we were together. She gave me my first child, but she took some beatings, brutal beatings, bro. So sometimes you have to really know what love is. Love is a verb and it's a noun. Because I love that shirt that you got on. But if I tell you that I love you, then I must put action behind that and show you that I love you. So if I'm talking to a woman, I got to take care of you. I got to provide for you. But, people just like to use it sometimes just to use it. And I don't know if you can have that balance, being fearless and be able to be capable of love. I struggle with relationships right now because they tell me that I'm not loving enough. But I wasn't raised that way. I was raised by a drug addict mama that punched me in the down stomach. Get your ass in the bed. You know what I'm saying? And I went through a lot of abuse. Now, she was a beautiful woman when she left. She was an evangelist. She had changed her life. But those scars, she couldn't. And my mama always feared because she always say, "Yeah, baby, you're going to be famous one day. But if you talk about mama, mama going to sue you." You know what I'm saying? but you know, because but here's the point, brother Josh. When you go through it as much as I've been through, you have to tell those stories because there are other people that's going through what you're going through,
Yes,
right?
sir.
I was in a conference recently, and they say we was talking about prison reform. If there was one law that you could change, what would it be? I said, well, I wouldn't let children that's under the age of 12 visit their parents in jail. They thought that was harsh. But you don't know what it's like to be living in the hood and every Sunday your mama put on the best clothes that you got and put you in the back of a car and she starts that car up and she don't take you to the Mos 45. She take you to Angola, Louisiana State Penitentiary. At home, my mom on drugs, $245 worth of food stamps was all she used to get. She done sold them for drugs. So I'm hungry. Get your behind in the bed, make me go to sleep. Hungry sometimes. And then when I get up there to Angola to see my daddy step out with starched down jeans on, white high top tennis shoes on. He looking like a guard. He been picking up weights all day. Mom, I could get something to eat. Yeah, get you some chicken. I could get a cold drink. Yeah, ice cream. Yeah. It made me feel like my daddy was living better than me. That's why when I went to penitentiary, I didn't give a damn. And I'll never forget, Brother Josh, when I pulled up in front of penitentiary, I'm young, I'm looking out the back of the car. They got trees and they landscape LSP. I didn't know that stand for Louisiana State Penitentiary. You know what I said? Wow, alphabet trees. I had never seen no alphabet trees. And then you got a big old beautiful golf course with a 10-acre lake. Boy, that place looked like heaven to me. It
Mm,
wasn't until I was introduced to that hell that I realized that they use human bodies like ours to keep that place clean.
mm.
Crazy, bro.
I'm glad you were able to push through that. My Lord, yes, sir. We look forward to watching your documentaries. Once again, what are the documentaries? Where can we find them? Before I give you my last question, sir.
It's To Live and Die in America. That's To Live and Die, AMERIKKKA. Look at it at YouTube. Amazon got it. It's out there. All you got to do is, if you Google it, it's going to pop up for you. What's your last question?
Yes, sir. What would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Uh, I don't work to create a legacy. I work to continue the legacy of Master Farad Muhammad. And if I could just continue to pass that name on, then my legacy is obsolete. I mean, it's like me celebrating a birthday. I'm gonna work this nothing if I can't bring somebody and try to give them the teachings and the saving things that help me. So my legacy for me is not a worldwide legacy. It's one within myself that as long as I can help keep those teachings alive, as long as I could be a light that people could see that these teachings work, that's all for me. I don't want to be the next nobody. You know, I hear people say, "But hey, bro, this boy gonna be the next Lil Wayne." Man, why he can't be greater than Lil Wayne? See, we always
Mm,
want to be the next something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, whatever I'm gonna be hasn't been seen yet.
mm.
You know, it hasn't been seen yet, brother. That's the bottom line. And that's where you have to talk about the balance that you're talking about, the realness of balancing things. Let me share something with you. That album cover right there, Kanye West. If you haven't seen his documentary,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
man, but you know what he didn't have? He didn't have the balance of bowing down to the God in there.
Yes, sir.
And when
Yes,
you
sir.
don't bow down to the God, that's the same thing. Go back to what I told you when I was in the dope game and I was in the gang leader. Why would I look for God and you treating me like I am a God?
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
treat me
sir.
like I'm the God of this world. You see what I'm saying? I pull up in the projects and people, Silky Slim, oh, look, baby, I'm so glad you're here. Look, I've been trying to buy this. And people treat me like I'm a God. So what I'm looking for God for? But even in the midst of the madness, let me tell you, even when I told my boys, and I think that's why Allah spared my life, when I told them that we were serving the devil, when, hey, brother, it's been times when I was shipping dope across the United States. You know what I would do? Get out there and pray on the vehicle. Lord, you let this one make it. Not to the Lord, though. You let this one make it, I'm going to get out. And look, once we got on the other end, where it's safe at, oh, Lord, thank you, Lord. I just don't know how to thank you so much. But I was crazy enough. And you're crazy enough to think that Allah. That's just like we're crazy enough to make all these ratchet, blow down, dirty songs. And the first thing I want to thank my Lord to say,
Savior Jesus Christ.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
Savior
Yes,
ain't
sir.
about that foolishness. But I came through a different set of rules. Free Ray Rick, that's my partner right there. He came through a different set of rules. We came through a different set of rules. And I was trained different. It was one time, and I'll go after this one, brother. I'll never forget, I was coming from San Diego, and for some stupid reason, I wanted to come down and show off with my car, and I had got my car loaded up with keys of dope. And I was driving back to Louisiana. Car started messing up in the mountains in Arizona right there. And state trooper, he said, hey, that's the mountains. The altitude up here is too high, so spray some of this down in there and it'll keep it running. And I said, okay. He said, where you headed? I said, I'm going to Louisiana. What you going down there for? I said, I'm going for a funeral. I'm talking calm because I've been trained on this. The worst thing that anybody could do is the police ask you where you're going. If you repeat it, where I'm going, oh, put your hands on the car. I've been trained in this, brother. So you don't repeat, you go on with the conversation, right? So I told him, I said, I'm going to a funeral, but there's a checkpoint, a border checkpoint right there at the Yuma line. So I'm looking at him. He drive down to the line and he talked to them at the line, and then he make his U-turn and he go back up the highway. We got to come down off this mountain, so we can't bypass the checkpoint, right? We got to go there. So when I get to the checkpoint, I stop, let the window down. The guy walk up to the car. He sniffed the car. I say, oh, Lord. He say, hey, man, where you headed? I know the policeman told him where I say I'm headed. I say, I'm headed to a funeral in Louisiana. Now, I'm scoping him out. He got a big old anchor on his arm with United States Marines on there. And he say, where you headed at? I say, I'm going to Louisiana for a funeral. Say, what you do for a living? I say, I'm 1st Tank Battalion, 1400 area, Camp Pendleton, California. He say, Marine, you have a nice day. Never been in the Marines in my life, but I've been trained to do it, brother. So, it's all about the teaching. If somebody teach you the devilish ways, you can get it surviving that way. And if they teach you, brother, they teach you in another way. And Brother Johnson is just so much. Let me tell you this, and I'm going. I got to tell you this.
Take your time.
Man, in this game, right? Down in this dirty South, bro. If something happened, and just say if you were to kill somebody while I was in control of this gang situation, right? Your people could come, hey, Silk, man, he done killed somebody, bro. What are we gonna need for to get him out? Blah blah blah. I can go talk to what we call the plug, and we go talk to the plug, and the plug would tell us what it takes for to get the murder charge thrown out, right? So one day I went to go talk to the plug, and they was up at their house, brother. This is real. And they said, hey, I'm in a meeting right now. Make yourself comfortable. I'll be with you. I said, okay. So this big old mansion, and they got a long hallway. And I walked down that hallway, and I seen all these white folks on there, the ugly kind, though. I'm like, whoa, like where this devil come from? Oh, I'm walking and looking, and then I walk up on the one that I mess with. I say, oh, look, there's such and such. I say, oh, this is family tree. I'm like, oh. So I asked my like, who is this? Oh, they're my great, 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 all that type of stuff there, right? So I go sit on the back porch, and I'm sitting back there, and I'm looking at these cars. And then I noticed that these cars have Confederate flags on them. I said, man, what the hell are they doing with that on their car? I don't even like that flag. I was raised that way. Man, I don't like that flag, man. What they doing with that on there? So he comes to the door. He say, hey, Silky, I'm gonna be a little while. He say, take that car, that mule is a Kawasaki's little SUV vehicle, right? He say, take that and ride a mile back and turn into the woods and go back there about a quarter mile. He say, they're gonna have a historical sign. It's a slave graveyard back there. Go check it out. I say, oh, okay, all right. So I rode back there, brother, and I got out and I walked over there. I looked at the headstones and I was touching them. And I was like, he said the slaves wrote the names in there with their fingers, and they had the dates, and it was, you could tell it was wrote in fingers or sticks and stuff like that. I was like, damn, slavery really existed. And that voice came to me. You know what that voice says? You in the hands of your slave master. That's why they'll take money and drop murder charges, because eventually somebody gonna kill y'all as well. And then when I started putting it together, I was like, wait a minute. He controls getting the charges dropped, but he the same one that tell us that his brother-in-law coming to the gun show and he got the Confederate flag, but because he said, "Hey, buddy, what you need?" and we giving them $10,000 and $15,000, and they putting guns in the garbage can for us, we figuring that's our friends. We was working for the enemies. He had us in their hands. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a God to pull you out of a condition like that. And right now I'm writing book. I'm writing this book, and I just don't know how much of this to reveal. You know why? Because they got a Silky Slim out there right now using that same plug. And if
Mm.
you go too far, you know, man, nigga ratting on the plug. You know what I'm saying? So it's safe, but I've experienced it. I know. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that our people are blind, man. And we got to continue. And say, even if we take away the blindness from our people, some of them just wicked as hell.
Yes,
That's
sir.
how I
Yes,
was.
sir.
That's how I was. I mean, hey, that's like, man, hey, bro. God had, you know what? God had to strip me down. And anybody from my community that know me, they know God stripped me down. He took away Mercedes, houses, money, everything. Stripped me down to zero. And I walked in the hood for 2 years. And one of my lieutenants who had taken over the gang that I had, he seen me walking one night and say, "Boy, I remember you was the man. You want to ride?" I said, "Nah, man, I'm just talking to the Lord." He said, drove off. I seen him a couple of days later and I was talking to him. I said, "Hey, man," I said, "I've been to the prison. I've been talking, man." I say, "The only thing changed since we've been up there is the TV set." I said, "You know how powerful it would be if you came and talked with me, Hammer?" He said, "Man, Slim, let me tell you something." He said, "We legends. We got to die hard. You done got scared to die hard." That was on Good Friday. You know what happened to him? Somebody tried to go and rob him, and he grabbed a gun and blew his face off. He died hard. I continue to strive in the cause of Allah, brother. Thank you for having me on, man.
Excellent. Yes, sir. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. I want to thank you again, Brother Silky Slim. Thank everybody
Thank
who's
you.
watching. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. May Allah continue to bless you, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.